Well, let me tell you something, brother. This might be the best OG Kush I've ever had. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. You just said a mouthful, brother. I'm higher than helicopter, but listen though, Hulkster. Young Lurch has been running his mouth on that podcast. Blaze the Bingo Hall podcast needs to show some respect to the veterans, brother. I say we run in there and show young Lurch and his guest just exactly who the OGs of this game are, What you gonna do, Blaze the Bingo Hall podcast, when the Macho Man and the Hulkster run wild on you? Ooh, yeah. Give me like 10 minutes, though, because I'm really stoned. Oh, yeah.
Welcome in or welcome back to Blaze the Bingo Hall. I am your host with the most, Young Lurch. Today we have a third generation sensation here in the Blaze the Bingo Hall setting, and I'd like to welcome in USW star Mr. Owen Maverick. Owen, welcome to Blaze the Bingo Hall.
I am happy to be here. It's early in the morning when we're filming this.
Yeah.
Early for me. I'm rock all night. Part of every day. This is not the part that I do it every day.
Hey man, as long as you make it to the concert the next day, that's all that counts, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And don't worry, guys, I'll be partaking in all the blazing today. Nothing will be, on Owen's side. So, me, Hulk, and Macho will be handling all that for us today. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for stopping by. And like I told you, I've been paying attention to what you're doing. You're a young guy that's, getting into the business, and I like to, spotlight people that I feel like should get a little bit more eyeballs on them and what they're doing. So, speaking of that, you are a third generation wrestler. What did wrestling look like growing up in your house?
See, that it's weird. Wrestling to me, like wrestling to the normal kid, like if you ask someone my age, it was always like Randy Orton and John Cena, and don't get me wrong, those guys were like the big like main focal points, but to me it was guys like Bob Starr, like Brian Hardy, Ryan McBride is on there, obviously guys like Mike Height, and he's like to the average person maybe Brian Hardy and Bob Starr, but like Ryan McBride, you have to be in Maryland to know Ryan McBride, and everybody in Maryland goes, why the hell does nobody else out of Maryland know? It's one of those things where Ryan was such a good talent, and guys like Mike Height too. Mike Height was such a good talent, and you only know him if you were in Maryland at that time watching it. So like, I'd go around to everybody and I'd say these names, and they're looking at me like, "Yeah, dude, that's fine," but like, look at John Cena and Randy Orton, and like, those guys were cool. Like, they were great to me, but it's like I actually got to see these guys and talk with these guys, so they were even larger than life, because not only was I talking to them, but then I'd sit in the front row and watch them all wrestle, and it was crazy. But I got, like, from a very early start, I got to see not just the wrestling aspect of it. Like, I learned very quickly, like, what to do and what not to do, and how to get bookings, and how to stay away, like how to know to stay away from somebody, or like how easy it is to get blackballed, or how easy it is to get a good reputation, like all of these things that I didn't know would help me down the line.
Yeah, there's a lot of slippery slopes that you could go one way or another real quick, depending on
it's chutes and ladders. That's my favorite expression of it. Chutes and ladders. One time, climbing up a ladder, your next turn, you're sliding right back down.
It's awesome that you have that perspective, even at a young age. And how old are you now?
I'm 17 now.
17. Yeah.
I'm still not old enough to wrestle everywhere, and that it's kind of it's one of those things where it's getting to me, because right now I feel old as hell. Like my body is so worn out, and it's 110% my fault. Like, I cannot blame anybody else. But like, some of the things that I can do now, nobody else is doing, or nobody that I know, at least, like, personally. So it's like, I always want to be on every show, and I always want to showcase what I'm capable of. But right now, I don't get that opportunity. Like, and it's one of those things where, like, I'm like the crackhead, like, oh, like
Need you
scratching
fixed.
because I'm sitting there and I'm watching it all, and I'm like, why can't this be me? But no, I got 1 year, and in 1 year's time, we'll come back to this in like at least a year and a half, and hopefully I'll be like, I'll like one title here and one title here, and I'll have like one title around my waist. Maybe I'll do like the Jay Briscoe on my head, or
Oh yeah.
but we'll find a way. We'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, we'll have to check back in a year or so and see where you're at because that like you said that sort of obviously deters you from getting a lot more bookings or branching out from a lot of other promotions that may be out there simply because you got to be 18 in
Hmm.
most places to work. But yeah, I mean even being 17, man, I think that the perspective or lines you just dropped on us there, it's you're even light years ahead of some people that have been in the business for maybe a longer time and then are of a older age than you, and it's like some people just don't get it. I guess feel like some people never get it, I guess. But yeah, man, you're
It's
thinking the right way.
everybody says it, and I don't think everybody understands what they say, and it's one of those things where some people get it, some people got it, and some people don't ever learn it. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I got it, but I've had a lot of people tell me, when you turn 18, you can I got a spot for you. And it's I've had more people than I could count tell me that. And it's one of those things where it's like October comes up very shortly, and we're gonna find out how quick these people either say you got it or, oh no, I was just kidding. Because
Yeah,
I could be told a million things, but it's different to actually do it.
yeah, things will get real.
Absolutely.
Do you remember like an exact moment when you realized that it wasn't just a family tradition or something that your dad was doing, and more something that was your calling, and you knew that you wanted to enter the business?
I always revert to one match. And when everybody asks me, like, what is your favorite match? Like, that is my. I'll tell you that in a second. But it all ties into this one question. And that I am in our beat up 2007 minivan, which is older than me, by the way. And we are riding back from a Lowe's. Lowe's, like, department store or whatever. And we're riding back to our house. And I'm scrolling on my phone, and I see this link come up, and it is from New Japan Pro Wrestling Sakura Genesis 2018, I believe, and it is Will Ospreay versus Marty Scurll, who is can't say his name anymore.
Yeah,
So
canceled.
yeah, I might not make it to 18, but
Yeah.
that right there, and just like, because if you watch that match is it's everything. Like, these guys are exchanging heavy strikes. Will Ospreay is obviously flipping. This is back when he was a junior heavyweight,
Mhm.
and Marty Scurll is just he's so technically savvy that it is insane. And I've always prided myself on, like, if they can do that, I can do all of that. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, I'm the best technical wrestler, because I am the furthest thing from it. Like, I get by, and
Mhm.
that's kind of all I really want. Like, obviously, I will always teach and learn more stuff, but I get by on technical wrestling. But
I've
like,
s- I've seen you've been adding a little bit more aerial
absolutely,
offense to your arsenal lately.
that is my thing right there. I am persistent, and I think that's why I'm feeling so old, because like, this guy named Newton, and gravity, and what comes up must come down, and it's they come down hard. It's
Yeah,
not one of those things where, like, I just need one of those, like, $700, like, big bed crash mats, and
crash
like,
mat. Yeah,
I just need to not feel a thing when I do that. But like, it's 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 pretty scary to be up there, and everything is just like, everything's spinning somehow, and then you land, and it's like, oh, that felt fine, and then I look over, and I'm like, why does my ankle hurt? And I get up, and I'm like, why's my knee hurt? And then, like,
yeah.
it's air offense is great, and it's very underrated, because everybody's gonna look and, oh, well, he's not making that much money to do that, and blah, blah. And I'm not making much money at training either, because I'm
Mhm.
training and I'm doing it there. And I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love to do it. And it's one of those things where it's like, the other day I'm taking back body drops and whatever else. And I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it because the boys love to see it, because I'm just flying and it's like, wee, poof, and it's a crash and burn, and everybody was sitting there and they were loving it. And it's like one of those things where it's like, that's not just the fan, like they are now the fans and I'm the
Yeah.
entertainer. And that's really what it's all about. But to answer your question, Will Ospreay, Marty Scurll, Dark Summer Night, that's when I learned that like that might be something I give a shot at.
Nice. What's something people misunderstand about growing up in a wrestling family?
That's actually very good. I don't think. Um, I think the biggest misconception is that everybody's rich. Like, you would not believe how many people I had come up to me. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like your dad's rich, and they were wealthy, or they were financially stable, but nobody realizes that like you can make so much money off a wrestling show, but you got to put it back into the talent, and then you
can
got to
lose a
put it
lot of
into
money.
the next.
Yeah.
You can lose more money than you can count. Like I have seen so many shows where guys, and I've rightfully so, I've been one of them where it's like, yeah, guys, house isn't full. Like I know that your envelope isn't as full as it would usually be, but don't like. I promise you, next time we got you. And usually, they always got me. So it's not. I can't say anything about it. But there's plenty of times that people. It's one of those things. It's hit or miss. Like you either do really good, and it's out of the park and sold out, or you do 5 tickets and you're sitting there going, do I even do this? Like why 5 people showed up? But it's one of those things where like you have to have that mindset of 5 people showed up. That's why I'm doing this. And those 5 people are gonna tell people, and those people are gonna tell people, and they'll all come, and it'll be a big hooray and party and watch wrestling, and people obviously are gonna get the hell beat out of them. But
Yeah.
but no, it's weird. A lot of people think that you're rich just because you're wrestling, and that's not always the case.
Yeah. I mean, I think that perception's everything. And sometimes people think that because, you have a promotion or you have this or you have that, like that all that automatically means all this money, or, you're just, sitting back signing all these people to contracts or whatever. It's, some people don't understand how things really, work behind
Absolutely.
the
And
scenes.
some people don't really care to understand. And
No.
that's valid in its own right, but it's like, why are you gonna say it then? Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the old adage too, is you know how to make $1 million in the wrestling business? You start with $2 million.
that is true. That is 110% true.
Yeah. So what family member would you say had the biggest influence on your in-ring psychology? I know you mentioned your dad, Bob Starr. Well, not Bob Starr's not your family, but Bob Starr is like someone kind of like an uncle, I would assume,
I'll
and
say
so yeah.
that's Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
Never I love Bob, but my in-ring psychology
Way
completely
different.
comes from my father. And
Okay.
I wouldn't say completely different, because I don't know. I've wrestled Bob Starr one time. So I don't know. Like obviously you could tell by watching it, but it's one of those things where it's like I want to feel him out. And like I've already said, so I know that he's gonna be watching this. Bob Starr, I'm coming for you. And
Coming for your ass.
he's the first. I got a hit list. And Bob Starr's
Oof.
somewhere on there. And maybe I don't want to kill him, but like
You
he's
gotta
gonna
take
be
him
up
out.
there, and
Yeah.
definitely blow him up. That's all I want to do. I just want to get him out of breath. But
Yeah. That'd
no,
be awesome to see.
I've been gunning for it for the past year and a half, and some reason it never happened. He always said like, "Oh yeah, your style doesn't mix with my style." And I said, "Bob, I can change." Like
What?
he said, "I don't like all you kids that do flips, because you
Yeah.
make me do flips." I said, "Bob, you don't have to do a flip. I love you, but I don't want to kill you." But like no, I 110% my father, and that comes from like everything. Like you said, that comes from early on in life. That comes from training with him, obviously, like that all. But I've also developed like my own sense of knowledge in that aspect, where we we won't butt heads. Like we won't sit there and argue, but it's one of those things where like he'll say something, well, maybe you could do it this way too. And then he kind of like looks over and he's like, that's not my way. And I'm like, yeah, but like it's an alternative option. And it's not always wrong, but
Right.
it's not always right either. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like form your own general knowledge, but don't force it on somebody, you know? Like
Yeah.
especially if you're my age. Like I've been wrestling for a year and a half. Like I don't know really relatively anything. So
Yeah.
don't push. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to take advice from people, but you don't always have to use everything. You know what I mean? But it's,
take it in
good to
bits and pieces.
yeah. Yeah. What lessons do you feel like were taught early that still carry on every time you step through the curtain?
Oof. These are good. Who's your
Fire, man.
screenwriter?
I took a little bit of time off, man, and I'm back with the heat.
There's so many. There's so many. One of those things where it's like, I was told recently, be still. When you lose them, or maybe you don't connect with them, be still, and they'll let you know. Like if someone grabs you in a chin lock, you'll either die and they won't hear anything, and you already know that you lost, or you go down and then they start cheering for you, and that is that moment. You think like, oh yeah, this is just like, oh, we're just trying to get them behind me, but it's one of those things where it's like you're trying to build a relationship with them and you're trying to form something. So be still is always a good one. Um, Again, slow and steady. Like I've heard so many people, if you think you're going slow, go slower.
Mhm.
And they tell that to me, but I'm like, well, I like to, like I'm Ricky Bobby. Like I want to go
Yeah.
fast. Like
Yeah.
I'm one of those like bing 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 and then slow down. Like it's like hot start and then slow down and then hot end or whatever. But like so many people, like if you think you're being slow, go slower. Especially with like newer guys. Those newer like nerves are one hell of like I
Easy way
don't
to blow yourself up real
it's
quick.
exactly, it's a downer. Like that is probably the worst thing you will ever hear. And yeah, nerves get to the best of you. And it's like I seen a video not too long ago. Nobody realized it, but it's like Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 35. Just because of like how like the nerves and the high that he's on, and he walks out and then he starts like limping. And then he gets to the back and he's telling everybody, like, oh yeah, I got lightheaded. Like I was about to pass out. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like if you really want this, like obviously you're not gonna pass out, but like you will be nervous as hell every single match. And it's like I tell everybody, like they're like, my girlfriend asks me all the time, oh, do you ever get butterflies? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. And I was like, no, it's usually like before I wrestle. She's like, oh my god, oh no, like, but it's like one of those things where it's like I've been around this for so long and I've wanted this for so long that every time I wrestle, I feel like the NFL meme where he's like, thank God that I've been blessed to play in the snow today, and it's like that is me. Like thank God I've been blessed to wrestle every time that I'm out there, and it's like especially if there's a house, because that energy that you will feel, like the energy's real, and it's one of those things where like you give what you get. So if I'm not getting anything, why would I give it? Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I love it. I will always love it. I don't think I will ever like. I don't think anything could make me hate wrestling. But it's yeah. I would say be
It,
still and slow down are probably the two biggest.
yeah, sometimes it feels like a disease that you can't get rid of.
Yeah. So, sometimes I wish they had a cure, and then
Yeah.
other times I'm like, I would have picked that cure up,
Yeah.
spiked it. But
So so who trained you, and what was the hardest part about adjusting or transitioning from being a fan to a performer?
that's great. You catch me off guard. So obviously, my father trained me, and that was just like the biggest open gateway. Is like, yeah, like here you go. This is free training right here, and it's like that is great. Like that is wonderful. Um, but we train at the USW Academy. I'm still there. I'm never not training. Like there will be times I'll take a couple days off and what else, but I'm never not there at least once a week.
You're also helping
Um,
train people too, as well, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I'm the right hand man there, but so that's who trained me. The hardest part transitioning. it's weird because I don't like. I was always a fan, and I don't think I ever really stopped being a fan. Like, even when I'm in the ring, I'm still like, or even in the locker room, I'm still watching monitors, and I'm still, oh my god, that looked great, or like, oh my god, that looks horrible. But like, it's one of those things where like I don't think I ever really transitioned. Like, I think I just woke up one day and I was in front of the guardrail, and um but if we're talking like physicality wise, definitely the bumps. Like just that as a whole, because when we started this, it was not like most people like, oh yeah, we had a ring, and it's like, no, he started us like the 80s where like it was just mats
Oh,
on
Matt's,
concrete
yeah.
floor, and it was not like that is I I I always tell everybody like I have like flashbacks when somebody puts me in a lockup that like they're just gonna grab a headlock and headlock take over on those mats. Like I was telling somebody, like I seen a video the other day and like I kind of like ugh, like but it like those are one of those things where it's like that right there that pushed me to want to get into a ring every month and do this and do that. And it's like maybe those people that didn't do that are not softer than me, but maybe they don't have the same appreciation because they weren't like being slammed on concrete or like, but it's one of those things where it's like that was it was one of those easy to break mentalities. So it's like, yeah, if you don't want it, you can just give up. Like you don't have to do this. And it's like, what? Like I already did it 6 times.
Yeah.
Like why would I give up now? But like, definitely like the physical aspect of it was very challenging. Not really the athleticism. I've always kind of been like fit. Like I'll put it that way. Not muscular or not like six pack abs. Like I've always been fit. So like running the ropes or like all that was fine. It did hurt. Like I would run them so hard. I'd have like the bruises on the back and everything, but it's like that was all fine. And then bumps happen. And I was like, oh yeah. But you become a very, very accustomed to them very quickly.
Yeah. Get a little callous to it.
Oh yeah.
What was your first match experience and what was it like emotionally and physically for you?
Oh god. Okay, so my first match was on. Let's see. This year's gonna. Let's see. I think it was July 13th. I know that for sure. 2024. So I think I've been right under 2 years now. And my opponent was Stunning Adam Armstrong. So that was. You got to know the lore here. So like his wife is my. No wait, no, not wife. Oh, that was okay. His sister, there we go, is my dad's wife, so that makes him my uncle.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a lot because it was one of those things where it's like I refereed the show before that, and then I was still refereeing for another company that they both were wrestling for. So they had said like, let's put you in a match. And I can't remember. I don't know if that was always the plan or if that got switched, but I remember the week of something happening and he was kind of just sitting there meeting. He came up and he said, what do you want to do? And I said, it's a great question. I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, theoretically, you're supposed to do this all to me. And he's like, well, like this is your first match. What do you want to do? And it was just a week of just back and forth and back and forth. And, I'm just pitching ideas, but like, I don't want to call the whole match, but like, I like, do you want to call the whole match? But I don't want to, I want to be respectful about
Don't
calling.
want to
So
come
like,
off the wrong way. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want him to like New Jack mass transit on me. So like, I'm sitting there and I'm like patiently like, oh yeah, let's do this. And he's like, well, and like, the only real thing that I remember about that is I looked at him and I said, I don't care what we do. I said, I do want to hit a backpack stunner. And that was the move that I seen my dad hit a lot, or Eddie Edwards as well. And I said, and I want to hit a Death Valley driver because that was the move that I had seen Ryan McBride do all my life. So it's like I wanted to pay homage to those two guys, but it was like I also wanted to build my own identity. So like we're just doing whatever and the day comes and like I'm sitting there the whole day and I'm just like not like nervous eating, but like I'm nervous snacking. So I'm sitting there and I had like the huge box of goldfish and I'm just sitting there at the monitor the whole day, just pounding down goldfish and like not like tremendous, like not like I was gonna vomit. Like everybody's sitting there, oh, the rookie's eating the goldfish. Oh, I'm like, yeah, like I'm scared, dude. Like, but when the time came, it was like an out of body experience. Like you don't everybody talks about it and everybody's, oh yeah, it's gonna be illustrious and blah, blah, blah. And it's like you don't realize until you're in that moment. Like that is a moment that I will hold and cherish, and it will be like that still plays day to day. And it's like I'm a big, like, I'll go back and watch. And it's not like I'll go back and watch and I'll be, oh my God, that looked great. It's like, yeah, that sucked. Like I could do that so much better now. It's like, oh yeah, that sucked too, and I could do it so much better now. But like
Mhm.
just the feeling of it, like I don't think I've ever felt like how I did on that day. Like it was one of those things where it was like it's like it was
Like a
a dream come true.
euphoria type moment.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%. It was insane.
that's awesome. When do you feel like that you truly belonged in the locker room?
Ooh. I don't okay. This is gonna sound weird. So before I was wrestling, I was a referee. And that was I'd refereed for another promotion, the second show, like second live show that I'd been to outside of quarantine. And it was like, yeah, you're a referee now. I was like, oh, cool. So like no prep on that or anything, and they just kind of threw me in with the wolves. So like I'm sitting there like talking with one of the other referees and I'm just asking for advice. And I think from that show on, like every time that they see me wrestle, they knew like, yeah, he paid his dues. Like he was refereeing, and like I still refereed, but like I learned very quickly that like they might not like the boss, right? And that's the boss may be related to you. That's why you get on their good side. So everybody like I was number one, like always there, early, shaking hands. You know, like I don't think I ever really got a bad rep with anybody. But I like obviously, I mean, there's gonna be the guys that are just, oh, you suck. And it's like one of those things where like, yeah, I'm not gonna change your mind because like you don't like my dad, and that's 110% fine. But like if I suck, blame it on me. Like I know I suck, but like,
Yeah.
just say like give me a valid reason. But like I don't think I've ever really like I don't know. It was weird. I was always around it growing up, so I knew how to act. And then like it was kind of weird because once I transitioned to wrestler, it was like one of those things where it was like, now I finally feel like I belong. And it was like, then I was still doing music and I was still hooking up monitors and like all like the ring and all of that. And I still had a hand in all of that. So like when people would come in and they'd see me doing that, they'd realize like, oh yeah, let's not talk to him now. And then they come by later and grab hands and like hugs and whatever else. But like, I was never one of those people that would go out of my way to deliberately not bully you. I think is the word I'm looking for. But I will always crack a joke, and it's one of those things where it's like humor is my favorite thing ever, and that is my response to everything. I you know, you had a great day, we're gonna laugh about it. You had a horrible day, we're gonna laugh about it. You had a mediocre day, I'm gonna give you something to laugh about. And it's like humor is my number one go-to. So if I can sit there and I can joke with everybody, like that's wonderful. And nobody, I don't think anybody really got mad over any jokes. And that was a big thing for me. But like
And
I
I
feel
think
like once I started wrestling, that was like when I truly belonged.
And I think to touch on what you said, that you've done so many jobs behind the scenes than just being a wrestler, that people have recognized that and seen that you've paid your dues. So it's not just like, oh, he's here because he's Brian's son or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, I know how to do X, Y, and Z. Some people don't even get to experience that. They kind of, either just come in as a wrestler and, you know how to ref, you know how to just set things up behind the scenes, do music. So there's a lot more going into it than just, oh,
Yeah.
this guy just got put here. So
Mm-hmm.
what I know you said that you kind of have your own style, but what part of your style that you feel like is inherited, and then also what is completely your own creation? Like you said, more of the aerial, high flying type of stuff is
Yeah.
more you.
I would say the more aerial style is me because he says all the time, "Oh yeah, I did a 450 when I was younger." I was like, "Do a 450 now?" No, I'm good. I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take credit for that." But I would say 110% the I would say that the technical prowess of that is 100% inherited. And like obviously I said it earlier, I'm not a big technical wrestler, but what I know, I'm good at. And I don't want to tarnish that by learning other stuff and sucking at that. So like I will always like I preach to everybody, stick at what you're good at, you know? Shine your flaws, but like don't use them. Like try and polish them up. And if you can't, like they're in the bin. But like I will always like technical wrestling was something that I have an appreciation for. Like I love going back and watching Brett Nolan, but it's like if I could choose between Brett Nolan and Sean and whoever, like I'm probably gonna pick Sean. But no, I think technical prowess is definitely inherited.
What makes the USW environment unique compared to other promotions you work for?
That's good. I don't know. I feel like we're more like of a family. Like I don't think I've heard anybody, at least in the locker room, kind of get angry or storm off or whatever. But like it's always been like hugs, probably not kisses, but hugs and like everybody, I don't think I hear anybody that doesn't say like, "Oh yeah, let me know when you make it." Like, everybody will always like safe travels, hugs. Like we had a referee
Floats
at the last
family.
show. Absolutely, we had a referee pray for us last time, and I was like, that was cool. But like it's family. It doesn't feel like we're friends. Like it feels like I've known these people forever.
Yeah. And I guess that is, like you said, that's what sets it aside to like maybe another locker room that's completely different. That it's sort of a dog eat dog mentality where it's like only the strong are going to survive in some sense of I'm going to try to push you down to make myself look better versus,
Mm-hmm.
USW where it's like we're all trying to uplift everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What match do you feel like represents Owen Maverick for someone who's never seen you wrestle?
Ooh, that's good too. I gotta think.
Didn't he?
I've
Didn't he?
um oh there's so many good ones. I think I'll give you two because I think they're completely different in themselves. I would say my most recent one was I wrestled DB Rivera at the House of Pain Wrestling Federation, and I think that one DB was such a cool guy, and he was a lot cooler than he had to have been because he came in. We talked for a minute, and obviously it's the whole, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Just call the match, bro. Like I'm just here." And I was doing a double shot that weekend, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, "I gotta stay here tonight. Like, don't kill me, but like, like obviously we're gonna put on a show." And I think for someone that has never seen Owen Maverick, and it's like you want the Playboy Owen Maverick, you want like you want the complexion of perfection. Like that is the match where I feel like that is it, and that is the main focal point of that. But I would say if you're looking for like a USW match of Owen Maverick, I would say a match with there's so many good ones. Let's say Hunter Blaze. Hunter Blaze was a great opponent. He was a great friend. We still talk, but a great guy. The only bad thing is he's Canadian, so we don't.
Mm.
We kind of disagree on that. But you know, um, he was great, and I love that match. And that was through a transitional period where like we moved to Delaware and we're driving an hour 30 there, and that was before I really like figured out what spray tan was. So like you see this like pasty little white kid and whatever. But like that to me was such a great match, and I will always hold that near and dear as well.
So you were mentioning, I guess, was that sort of like your heel persona, like when you're with House of Pain, or do you work heel there
Yes.
exclusively? Because I mentioned it to your dad when I interviewed him about I'd seen you wrestle live. That was the first time I seen you wrestle, and I loved it, man. You came out white boy of the year, talking mad shit to the crowd, and like I could see like you were feeling it and feeding off of them, and they were giving it back to you. So yeah, I think more of that, the better.
That will always be like a constant argument, as I will always say, like, I am 110% bred and born to be a heel. And he always, no, you're a natural baby face. And I said, well, imagine this natural baby face telling you that you're fat and ugly. You'd get
Yeah,
very angry at that.
yeah,
Like, because I'm supposed to, like, I look like a child. So
yeah,
imagine a child sitting there and arguing with you and yelling at you. Like, and I will always say, like, that, I feel like I am running a tight ship in USW. Like, I feel like I'm always, Q's and P's, I guess is what everybody always says. And like, it's always like, get in, here's what we gotta do. And it's always like, here's my instructions, and this is how we're gonna build it, because I know that next week, blah, 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 and the week after that, and it's always, we're planning in 4 weeks. But like House of Pain, it's one of those things where like I just go in and it's like, do whatever you want, and it's like great. And like there's been times, especially I think the match that you seen, there was so much more planned for that. And it was like they had told us like, oh yeah, 12 to 15, but if they're liking it, you go as long as you want. It was one of those things where I was like, we're gonna make them like it. And I won't say that like they were big fans of it, but they definitely, there was some fan interaction. We'll say
oh
that. But
yeah,
like, it's one of those things where it's like, we know that we can't do X, Y, and Z at USW, but like we could do whatever we want, and we really have a sense of creative freedom at House of Pain. And like those are one of the matches that I didn't mind that match. It was great, but like it wasn't my favorite. And that was like, we were walking out of the curtain and they're like, hey, the match after you is doing this and this. Can you not do that? And we're like, Alex was like, what? And I was like, yeah, just go out. I was like, yeah, we'll cut it. And it's like, it is weird because USW, we have agents. So like people come over and kind of monitor what you're saying. And yeah, you can't do that because so and so is going to do that. So it's like, it sucks that not everybody has that. And
hmm
it's not needed, but it is definitely helpful. Like, especially if you're putting on a taping like USW is, and we have 4 shows that we're filming in one day. Like, nobody wants to see 6 headlock takeovers in the same episode. So it's like maybe one, and we'll cut it there. But like, yeah, I like the creative freedom of being a heel, because it's almost that like rebellious CM Punk, like nobody's gonna tell me what I can do, and it's nobody really can tell me what to do if I'm out there.
yeah. That's as a fan, that's the type of wrestler I like. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Shitty little heel. Like you said, you're a young guy. You got the long hair. You come in and talking shit to the fans. They're like, what is going on here? Like,
I
and
always think of Adam
immediate
Cole.
responses. Yeah, yeah. Is there a rivalry that you feel like pushed you to another level?
That's good too. I wouldn't say a single rivalry pushing to another level. Like, I think I've wrestled Adam Armstrong and Atticus Webb probably over 15 times. And that's not like, I don't think that really put me on another level, but I think that had kind of helped me evolve. But like, I also helped them evolve. So it was like, maybe it did put me on another level, but like maybe not to the fans. Like,
Hmm.
I would say one of those two definitely helped.
How do you feel like you balance honoring your family name with also building your own legacy?
Um, I think they go hand in hand. If it was up to
Okay.
me, I was originally supposed to come out as a Hardy. And that was, obviously King Hardy is under me, but it was supposed to be Owen Hardy. And that had never even crossed my mind that I wouldn't have that name. So like when I'd sit there as a kid and I'd make my character on the 2K games, like it was always Owen Hardy. And like that had been something like I had wanted to honor that name, but at the same time, when I honor that name, the first name that I want to think of when I hear that name is me. It's like I want everybody to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, the Hardys, isn't Owen Hardy in them?" Not like. And then as I grew, it was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be Maverick," and I was like, "Well, like love you guys. I'll still bring you up to everybody, but like
Carve my own path.
exactly, yeah. Like you know, it wasn't my idea to be a Maverick, but I will
Do you
110%.
do you feel like there's eventually some sort of turning point that will happen where eventually you will get crowned that name, maybe a heel turn in USW, and eventually it's time for you to take the reins? I might just be fantasy booking out there for anybody that's listening, but
I have 110% thought about this, and I am tell everybody I'm not really against anything, and
mhm.
I'm always open to most things. If you're gonna like, oh yeah, let me give you a Canadian destroyer on the ground, probably not, but
Right.
maybe in the ring. But no, I'm 110% open to anything. So if they say like you're gonna be a Hardy now, I'm gonna wear that name till I die, I guess.
Do you feel like there's more or less pressure with that? Like as far as right now, like you said, you're kind of carving your own path as Owen Maverick. Maybe once that does, maybe you do make that transition. Do you feel like there'd be more pressure to carry on that lineage, or
I think there probably would be more pressure, and not really like I don't know. It's weird. So everybody knows that me and my dad are related, and you can't not like we look the exact same, like the whole nine. So everybody knows it, but like it's one of those things where like nobody knows that me and my grandfather are really related. Like it's like you can put the puzzle together, but like nobody has gone that far. Oh yeah, but like I think once I took that name, like there would be a lot more eyes that you wouldn't think traditionally are watching. That would start like, oh yeah, what is this kid doing? Like we know your granddad, but what are you doing? What
yeah,
like so I would
yeah,
think traditionally there would be more.
yeah, and doing that, like you said, like it immediately makes people, oh well, who's his dad? Who's his grandfather? So
It,
there's a
it
whole,
gives them a history lesson.
yeah. What do you feel like? Do you have like a mental routine before a big match or just any match? Like maybe like a superstition that you have
I
to
had
do?
always I don't know, it's weird. I will never really like I will chug waters until like probably about 30 minutes before the match, and then I'll cut myself off from food, from water, like that hour to 30 minutes before. It's like I'm really like, and then I'll sit there. I think I do like 25 jumping jacks, and I'll sit there, and that's just like not to blow myself up, but just to kind of get me ready, and like that's always the thing. And I won't drink it, but I will spray myself with water, and I will just like I'll come out like I
Soaked.
will look like I jumped out of a pool. Like it's like I have an ungodly amount of water that I will just all over my body. But like that's really I mean really I only focus on like the spray, and I will always spray myself with cologne too because I feel bad for people that don't do that and they gotta wrestle and then they stink, and so
Yeah,
always deodorant and always cologne, and that's
yeah. I know Ricky Morton just posted about that recently, and it seems
yeah.
something that it keeps coming up a lot where people still aren't washing their gear or washing their body. So it's like, what is
Yeah,
going on?
no.
What
No,
is
that's
going
nasty.
on?
Like I will especially during like tapings, like I will come back, I will dry off, I will put more deodorant on, I will put more cologne on, and I will change my gear. But it's like obviously like the knee pads don't come off. I got two sets of knee pads, and either way, they're both like naturally after wrestling, they're both gonna smell.
Yeah,
But it's one of those things where like I gotta wrestle 6 matches, like you know how hard it's gonna be to pull them off now and then change them. So like it's one of those things where it's like, sorry guys, but I'm gonna spray these too just so they don't smell as bad.
yeah. Well, at least you're conscious about it. Some
Yeah,
people
I
just
don't.
are ODB out there just smelling,
Yeah, no,
stinking up the ring.
that is not something that I will ever like. That is something I take pride in. It's like
Yeah,
I don't want to stink. Like,
yeah.
please.
Have good hygiene out there, wrestlers.
Yes. Yeah.
What part of wrestling fulfills you most? Performance, storytelling, or the impact of it?
Hmm. I think for me, it is more so the performing. And I like a good story as well, but I think that like if you have a good story going and you don't have a good match, like that story's irrelevant. But if you have a great match with no story, it's still a great match. So like, I think the performing aspect of it is a lot more important than the storytelling. And don't get me wrong, you still need a story, but it's more important than a story. And that's I would rank that number one.
Okay. Also, I want to, before I forget, I have a QR code right here that if you guys scan that QR code, it'll take you right to USW's YouTube channel that you guys
Oh,
have episodes every Saturday, I believe. So,
yes,
yeah,
sir.
go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that up there in the corner. Let me get back to my notes here for a sec. Yeah, so I know you spoke about it a little bit, but how did the Owen Maverick persona come to life? Like once you realized, okay, you're going to be Owen Maverick, what does that mean? How did you start to bring that character to fruition?
I tell everybody like every when people ask, that's probably my favorite question here because like it's not an answer you'd expect. So when I was a referee, I went by two names. So like at USW, I was always Owen Maverick. At Atlantic Terror Championship Wrestling, which is no longer in business, I was Owen Money. And that's another good story. Is like the promoter's like, "What do you want to be?" And I'm like, "Owen." And he's like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna call you Owen Money because in life you're always gonna be Owen Money." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Great joke." But like, so like when it comes to Owen Maverick, like that was just something that was thrown together, and it was like okay. And then like we had started thinking about me wrestling, and it was like one of those things where like I was expecting Owen Hardy, and they were like, "No, you're just gonna be Owen Maverick," and I'm like, "Well, what does that entail?" And they're like, "Well, you're gonna be a surfer." And I was like, "I don't really surf. Like, I don't like. I like the water, but I'm not really a surfer." And he's like, "Well, you got the long hair, and we get you some puka shells and boogie boards." And so that was something that at the start I was completely against. But like as time went on, I was like, yes, like this is, and especially like after that first show, they're like, yeah, like put the boogie board on top of him and do the surf, and I was like, yes, like, I would give them credit. I don't remember who told me that, and I think if I could remember, it would probably be Austin Blackthorne,
Hmm.
and I might be giving someone else credit, but that's how I remember it. But that was one of those things where I was like, I think after that I realized like, yeah, I'll be good, like it'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen you do that on one of the episodes I've watched. I like that move. It's
Yeah, it's
sets you
funny. It
aside.
gives
Yeah,
people a
yeah.
laugh.
What parts of your real personality do you feel like show up in your character?
um, that's good. I could not tell you. I mean, there's I think with the healed persona, like you see a certain type of anger that I have, and maybe not at like someone directly, or just that's just it. Like that's just how I blow my steam, and like so it's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's personal because it's not. But if I'm yelling at you, like I'm gonna be angry, and I want you to get
You're
angry
able
at me.
to you're able to
It's
release and have that outlet.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly, and then I feel like that's something not a lot of people get, but like I'm able to be angry at people, and they're allowed to be angry back, and it's all in good fun, really. But like, it's like one of those things where like I am kind of blowing off steam, but you guys wouldn't know that because even I could be having a great day, and like I would still do the same thing because that's just how the business works. But
that's
like
how it
I
goes. Yeah,
think I think like to a certain point, ignorance and cockiness also is shown, and like that, and I think with the babyface character, like that kind of like laid back, like whatever, like almost like an Orange Cassidy, like like whatever, like it's, and that's just really how I am. Like it. Oh, where you want to go? Wherever. Like it's fine. Like I'll
yeah.
tag along with you guys. Like, but like that's I think like the laid back, maybe some of that anger and cockiness.
Oh yeah. If fans could see one side of you they normally don't, what would it be? I know you mentioned like you do music. Is there other outlets and things you do outside of wrestling?
Not. I mean, I'm I'm a big gamer.
Okay.
I think if people seen how bad I was at 90% of the games I played, they would definitely have. like I think that would be a bigger reason for everybody to make fun of me or do whatever. But like, I think gaming would be like a fun aspect of me to see.
Do you do like live streaming with the games too, or
No,
no?
I've thought about it, and I was like, yeah, no, I would be embarrassed to lose that many games on a live stream. Like
Everybody
that
watching
was,
you lose.
yeah, that would be embarrassing. Like
Yeah,
I'd be sitting there like the Kurt Hawkins losing streak, like that would be me. And like every day
yeah,
I'd have to tally up like another 100 losses. But like,
yeah.
no, gaming is a big aspect of my life.
Yeah, that's like me, like especially if I don't play for a long time and then
Oh
I
yeah.
dust it off, I come back, I'm like, what happened? It's like you just get
I'm
demolished. Like
I'm in the middle of my GM game, and it's me,
Mhm.
my brother, and the bot. And the bot is just it's going crazy right now on us, but like
Yeah.
it's not looking good.
Yeah, I feel like you could never give them a good show, you know what I mean? I'm like, what do
No,
I have to do? Like I'm
that's
booking big stars
that's what
right
I'm
now, and
saying.
this shit's
Like
still not good for you
I'm
guys.
dropping all the bands. Like
Yeah.
what do
Nope.
I know though?
You get no reactions.
Yeah.
um, what goals are you chasing right now in USW or just in wrestling in general?
So I think I have, and just for my personal keepsake, I have two things that I always like are always on me, and I have a list of every match that I've ever had, and it's just in a notebook, and it's just one of those keepsakes. Like, just if I ever forget it, like, and that includes like every match I ref too. But like one of my biggest, like what I'm chasing right now is chasing the gold. Hypothetically, I'm chasing the silver screen title, and that is and like I say that all the time. Like that belt is indebted to me. Like I will always be tied up with that belt, and everybody's like, oh yeah, like whatever. Like he's just a young kid, but like people don't realize like that was the belt that I had said like, oh yeah, we should our mid card title should look like a TV, and we should call it the silver screen title, and like
Mm,
the only thing that I didn't actually come up with was like the antennas for the belt, and like we had done away with them as well, but like I'd always said like we need, like I had seen the New Japan TV title, and I was like, that is a great concept, and like it's like, what if we put a red strap on it? And what if we do this? And like, so we sat there and we concepted it, and it was like, we sent it away and it came in, and then like, it looked great. So like, okay, great. And then like, he opens it up, antenna's broken. I was like, I told you not to get the antenna on it. And like,
hmm.
so like, that was, we like fixed it up and whatever else. And we got another one made, so it didn't look like that. But it was, I think the silver screen title is the number one goal.
Got a lot of attachments to that belt right
Yeah.
away. Yeah. So yeah. Is there who's a dream opponent for you, past or present?
I think I think I always will go to, and this is a lot of people. Will Ospreay is always that guy, and if we're talking past, maybe Owen Hart. I think Owen
Hmm.
Hart and Owen Maverick could have been a great match, but I think right now, current day and time, Will Ospreay will always be somebody that like I will say like that. That's the number one. If I can get that, like my life will 110% be complete.
Yeah, I know he's I think he's out right now with the neck
Hmm.
injury or neck surgery. Yeah. So yeah, man, when you sign that AEW contract one day, you're gonna be
Hopefully,
yeah.
fingers crossed.
Do you watch much mainstream stuff right now, like WWE or
I
AEW or
I keep up with everything. Like
Mhm.
I always like to dip my toes in every pool. And I'm not always like there at 8 p.m. watching the show, but like I will always like highlights and like the finishes and whatnot and how it ended and who won and whatever, and I will always be on that. But like I think right now the two biggest is I'll always find a way to Raw. And like that's just Netflix. Like I will always find my way to Raw, and I will always find my way to Dynamite. And especially like I think the most recent one I've watched was Jordan Oliver and Alex Price, or Alex
Mm,
Price debuted, and
mhm.
and I've had an eye on those two guys for a while, and like I always loved Jordan Oliver, and I liked him back when he was with Nick Wayne. So like I'd always said like, oh yeah, USW's got to bring him in. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe, and then now he's in AEW, like, oh, what the hell, like we could have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like you kick yourself, like. But no, I think AEW and Raw are like the two biggest ones that I will always watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shout out to those guys. Just got signed. I've been following them, and they've been GCW for a long time. So yeah, good for them. What legacy do you want attached to the Maverick name when your career is over? Maybe not Maverick by the time it's over, but
to the Maverick name, just the word best, and you could take that however you want it. Best heel, best match, best wrestler, like just the word best, and that will, and it depends, like best at being the worst. Like I don't really want that, but if that's what you want to call me, like clearly something's working. But like no, I will always say like just the best, or even like match of the night. Like I don't think there's ever been more than 2 shows that I've gone where like people haven't been like, oh yeah, like that was probably match of the night, and it was like, yeah, like it hurt, but like that was great to hear that, and then like you go back and you watch it, and it's like, oh yeah, well like, but like most people don't realize, and we talk about this all the time, like me being so hard on myself, people don't realize that. Like in the moment, they're just going, oh my god, like they're pushing away the flaws and shining up those pros because that's what they paid to see, and it's like if they had a good time, I had a good time, and I will always say that.
Yeah. How do you want fans to feel when they think of Owen Maverick?
So that's I initially I want to say happy. Like I want to always be that like safe haven. Like you're having a bad day or you want to learn, you can go to Owen Maverick, and like, but I don't know. I mean, it really depends. I would say happy. Just offer it. Just happy and overall
Okay.
excited.
If the next generation of your family wrestles, what advice would you give them first?
I mean, I think that advice that I was always like given, like the be still and the slow down are always going to be like the first two, and I tell that to the students that are training now, like always like just slow down. We don't gotta work so fast. It's training.
Yeah.
Like once you get out, you do whatever you want, but like just slow it down.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear that a lot. Like you said, whenever you feel like you're going slow, go even slower. All right, man. I appreciate you. I got one last question for you is where does Owen Maverick see himself 5 years from now? Wrestler, mentor, something bigger?
5 years from now, I see myself with probably 2 big braces on my knees. Still trying to
Stone Cold style.
yeah. No. 5 years from now, I see myself traveling and still doing the same thing and still hopefully still having this hunger and this drive to do this that I do right now. And hopefully I have people beside me and above me and beneath me that I could carry with me and that I can take to all these different places and that I can bestow knowledge upon and learn from as well. But I think 5 years from now, hopefully we'll be doing some big things, like some huge things.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be someone that's going to be following your career, and I hope that anyone listening today, you check Owen out. You can find him at his handle right there, King Hardy _. Also, like I said, I'm going to pull up the QR code again. You guys can scan that. It'll take you right to USW's YouTube page. Every Saturday, there's a new episode. If there's anything else you want to plug or anything you want to let the audience know, feel free to go ahead and shout them out now.
While we're on the topic of USW, our next show, March 7th. Oh wait, I don't know when this is airing, so we'll plug this anyway. But if not,
this will be out before the 7th. So
okay, great. March 7th, we have former WWF Tag Team Champions, the Headbangers, coming in, and we will be there at the Laurel Junction, March 7th. So we'll be there. I'll be there. I will probably be commentating most likely. Okay. But I got a great colleague, Eddie Cameron, former ref of the year. So like we're like the 2 ref of the years or something like that. Like we both got awards, but it's fine. No, we'll be there March 7th with the Headbangers. I hope to see somebody there, some people there. Hopefully all of you.
And they're taking on Brian Hardy and Bob Starr, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Tag team titles.
Nice. yeah, you guys check that out. Like I said, check out the YouTube page. And if you're able to make it there March 7th, you said that's in Laurel, Delaware?
Laurel, Delaware. Yes, the
Laurel,
Junction.
Delaware. Yeah, man. Owen, I appreciate you, man. And until next time,
sir.
see you at the Bingo Hall.